Well, I was pitched a long time ago, 8 years ago now. I turned it down. And actually, I didn't know anything about television. I didn't do any television. I shouldn't say we didn't do any. We did a company or a program called Switcheroo. That was on CBC. So my partner and I were both on the show. But when I got pitched to do a full time, my wife actually was the one that convinced me to go on it. And I turned it down twice. And then they finally came back and said, why don't you just come out and audition? So I got dressed up on a Sunday afternoon and went down to CBC and got pitched by actually a pitcher that showed on a year later. They actually sent me the DVDs of the English show, and it looked awful boring to me. And the English show still is boring, We're completely different.
I was pitched about 7 years ago, so I came in the second season, and I had gone home. I'd gone to the office and I got a phone call from the producer at CBC who said, you want to be on, we want you to audition for the show. And it was my kids that convinced me to do it. And I went home and I said, you won't believe this, they want me to audition for this show. And they said, oh Mom, you should do it. Nobody watches that show anyhow, it'll be fun. Yeah, right. Then things changed, right?
Then the world changed.
Then the world changed, yeah. I've learned to let the pitch unfold because, if you're too quick off the mark, you can generally tell if it's a bad idea relatively quickly, but sometimes you need to let the story unfold because they're nervous and because the cameras are on them and we're peppering them with questions, and sometimes one of the guys will ask a question and make me think differently about it, so I'll rethink it. So I learned to listen a little bit longer into the pitch.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think you got to let them get their pitch out. I'm probably more quiet than anybody because I want to learn what they're doing. And I'm listening to the other dragons, what they're asking the questions, or what the pitch is all about. But I'm assessing basically when they're coming down those stairs, who is this person if I go in with this deal? Is he the person or she the person I want to deal with? Well, I have a tendency of an old trait that I had with a policeman. I want to read you before I do anything,
Yeah.
And I think that's probably instilled in me for a long, long time. So I look at you and I just look at your body, motions and your eyes and everything else, and that tells me a lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I think we get involved in the business part of it, but when people come on here wanting to mentor either Arlene or we don't have that time. When we were in business before, I had the time to mentor you if that's all I had to do. It's just one thing. But in this business now, where we've got so many deals out there, and there's so many people that know us, everybody wants a mentor. We just don't have that many hours in the day. At least I don't. Yeah,
we're pretty structured about it. We have regular meetings with the entrepreneurs. We try and be very disciplined about making sure that we're staying in touch with them. But in terms of being, constantly available, it's almost impossible. There's just too many moving parts. But we have teams that help. I hate when we fail because on a whole bunch of fronts. Financially, I hate it, but I also hate it because I feel like, did we do everything we needed to do? Did we help as much as we could? Was there something different that happened? And then you feel bad for the entrepreneur. On the other side, I think failure is something you better expect as an entrepreneur, and you better be ready for, and you better be able to learn from. So if it's a great entrepreneur, we failed in one deal, I'm quite ready to back them again on another one. Simply because you fail once doesn't mean that you're going to fail all the time.
No, exactly. Yeah. I look at my businesses, I had 3 nightclubs at one time. The third one failed. And why? I thought I knew everything about that business. I was very, 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 very successful for 10 years. Took a third one on, bang, in the tank. One was called, because it was, it wasn't starstruck here, but we had one pizza shop, and down below it was called Boston's Bottom because in the basement. It didn't take a rocket science to figure out where the name came from. So we built 2 of those. Very, very successful. I think, oh my God, I can do 15 or 20 or 30 of these, right? We got the second one going. I'm sitting back thinking, God, this manager, I'll take him and put him into another one. Well, by the third one, he is burnt out. I didn't realize this. I'm thinking he's fine. We failed. We absolutely failed. And you learn from that. It's a learning experience when you happen to that. The thing is, you can get knocked down to the ground, and it really got knocked down to the ground. You can lay there. That's the first option. The second option is get off your rear end and get going again. And that, to me, is what we look at as an entrepreneur.
We've all done it. We've all had to get ourselves up off the ground.